The Conversation Motivational Hour with your host, Minister Seon Rodney. The Conversation. Thank you for watching The Conversation Motivational Hour. We love you and cannot wait to see you in person.
This program is being sponsored by Conversational Merchandise Cravings. Visit us at conversationalmerchandisecravings.com. Purchase your cups, mugs, hats, hoodies, and much more. Conversationalmerchandisecravings.com.
All right. Good night, each and every one of you. Good night. Good night. Welcome to the Conversation Motivational Date Night. Taking the blinders off. I have in the studio with me no other than Jaden Latmore, a friend, a colleague. I want to tell you, a young man who is evolving. I have him tonight where we're going to be chopping it up tonight. And I'm happy to have Jaden with me. Jaden, welcome to the tribe, the community, and the village. This August body called the Conversation Motivational Platform. The Conversation Motivational Platform, Jaden, has been evolving for over 8 years. Over 8 years, the Conversation Motivational Platform has been evolving. Of all the affiliates, we have the Conversation Motivational Hour. We have the Conversation Motivational Date Night, taking the blinders off, which you are on tonight. We have the Conversation Motivational Sip and Chat. We have the Conversation Motivational Small Business Community. We have the Conversation Merchandise Craving. We have the Conversation Together We'll Rise Ministry in another country, which is called Guyana. So we are emerging. Not forgetting, you have the Conversation Zero to Hero TV also. So we are evolving and we are matriculating to be the best that we can be. So tonight, Jaden, I am privileged to have you on our platform tonight, on our show tonight. I'm happy that you make the time to come with us tonight. And in your debut tonight with us, we're so happy that you bring to us and to this platform what God has allowed you to have a passion for. And tonight, can you tell the people, Jaden, something about Jaden before we get into our segment tonight? Tell the people, who is Jaden, what about Jaden, and stuff like that.
Well, first and foremost, I want to say thank you for having me as well. And I'm very thankful to be here tonight, to have the opportunity to be able to be here. And I'll say, who is Jaden? For those who don't know me and for those who will get to know me in the future, you'll find out that I'm a very hardworking, optimistic person. Like, I really focus on believing in yourself and believing in others, as well as a caring person. I believe what you give out is what you will receive. And I feel like in this world, at the end of the day, as long as we can help each other or help the ones closest to you, you have served well in the world and you have become a better person.
Awesome, awesome, Jaden, awesome, awesome. Because what I always says is that the world, Jaden, needs us. There is something you have to offer to the world. Somebody that is thirsty, that certainly I cannot quench their thirst. But you can quench their thirst. There is somebody that is hungry, that I cannot feed them, but you can feed them. What does that mean, Jaden? That we are unique. And we came into this world with our own sphere of influence. So I want to applaud you to stepping into your purpose and on your schedule to a purpose-driven life and to understand your pathway that you have started. Because, Jaden, there is a saying that said 100 miles start with one solitary step. And in meeting and in coming encounter and being in conversation with you, I recognize you no longer have 100 miles before you. You already take many solitary steps. So no longer you have a mountain to climb. By the baby steps, you already get in planes before you. And I want to applaud you for your strength, your courage, because not too many people at your age really have a direction that they really want to go. Some people right now are still trying to find a pathway. They're still trying to find who will impact them and who they can impact in life. And I'm very much grateful to meet you at your evolving stage. I'm grateful to meet you while you were still dreaming and it's not fully 100% to fruition. And I'm happy to be your friend to recognize the humility that you're teachable and you're willing to learn and you're willing to embody where you want to go because there's a saying, Jaden, that says, you go alone, you go very fast. You go with others, you go very far. And in this community that we are building, is for each and every one of us as motivational speakers, inspirational speakers, as life coach, we are building for the future where we are going far. And to make sure that our generation will be affected, but generation coming after us. So here we go into our segment of questions and answer tonight, Jaden. Once again, welcome to the Conversation Motivational Date Night, Faking the Blinders Off. Jaden, could you share a bit about your background and how did it shape your perspective on the importance of your personal development?
It's a really good question. Really good question. I would say a bit about my background. So I'm 22 years old. Fresh out of high school, I enlisted into the military, and I just decided to join the Marine Corps. And I would say the Marine Corps basically it's not for the weak, but it's also teaches you how to be strong. So once I became in the Marine Corps and I became a Marine, I was learning the new ways of a Marine and how to be a man, how to survive throughout combat, how to build yourself. But then at some point in my career, I had to be the person to teach other Marines. And that's when I realized you have to really lead by example. So that's when I really started realizing how important personal development is, because I feel like the greatest gift you could give someone else is your own personal development. So the better I better myself, the better my Marines better themselves, just make us all better as a team. So that's where my journey of personal development started.
I love that. I love that, Jada, because getting from you the importance of being a team player. I love that. I love that because in a team, there are various skill sets that to make that team to be successful and for that team to really evolve. But in a team setting, it must be the greatest amount of value. Where
Mm.
someone value your skill set, someone put a worth on you that together we all can evolve and we all can make sure that we get to where we need to get as a team. So value and worth is very much important. And I love your experience from the Marine. We teach you teamwork. And that helped me now to understand your perspective and importance of personal development. Because now you're shaped one to be a team player, you're shaped in discipline and understanding how to embrace your perspective for the future. Jaden, what inspired you to get involved in your area of expertise or interest? What inspired you, Jaden?
I would say what inspired me was quote back to me being in the Marine Corps. I realized I made the decision to leave the Marine Corps because even though I was in the Marine Corps, I had a lot of friends who were not in the Marine Corps. So I decided to leave the Marine Corps and so I could be that leadership for people within my own community, because everyone will not be able to have a Marine or like that type of leader lead them unless they go and earn the title Marine. So I decided to leave the Marine Corps and make an impact in my community, because there's other people out there that need leaders other than just Marines who aren't fortunate enough to get those type of people in their lives, those brothers, those father figures, those friends, those mentees, without going through rigorous training or being in elite groups of circles. So I decided for me to step away from the Marine Corps, come back into the community, and start working with my people and see if I can help them better their lives from what I've learned.
That's awesome, Jaden, because the community is looking for leadership. The community is looking for guidance. The community is looking for mentors, right? The community is looking for mentors because there are people who are hurting. And the only way the hurt can be dealt with is from a place of experience. Someone coming with experience, and experience will be able to bring wisdom. With that wisdom of experience, knowledge, and understanding, you can able to embrace what someone is going through. I remember being in a discussion a few weeks ago, and I was saying to someone, you cannot use the word get over it. This is the person in high leadership of a leadership authority. And it was very hard for them to understand because the experience was never there. But they understand the certain words they cannot use, certain phrases they cannot use because you're setting yourself up. You're setting yourself up to having more problems than solutions. But I'm glad that you gained the experience from the military, more so from the Marine, the hardest arm of the military force of the United States Army. And now you make a decision to be a community leader. And at age 22, it's not easy to lead people who supersede you in age, who supersede you in a few more experience, whatever that experience is deemed to be. It takes a lot of courage, which again, I want to tell you, I applaud you for what you're doing, for the journey that you have been taken to be a leader in your community, performing guidance. Your community is being eroded. We find there gang violence. We find there much on PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. People are suffering from CSI, which would mean they're revisiting the scene. Some people they can't enter into certain conversation because it trigger trauma. You have people who are going through meltdown, people going through depression, people going through oppression, and they just don't know how to overcome what they're going through. Sometimes the place they sought for the guidance and the leadership may not be the place that really give them what they really need. And there's sometimes, because of your generation, you can affect what's supposed to happen even now. Right? So what am I saying? For you to step into the community and to provide that leadership and guidance is very much important. That you take a position as a mentor to raise up mentees. Because what happened, Jaden, in an evolving mindset, your mentees that you have right now gonna evolve to be mentors. And the guidance and leadership you give to them, they will in turn now evolve to be mentors while they will pass on to mentees. So I am very much grateful for your leadership and guidance that you have bring back from your experience that you acquired so that men and women can evolve, probably from a mindset, a culture that is not futuristic, a mindset, a culture that doesn't have a strategy. You've been exposed to the Marine, travel the world, and all of the likes that an ordinary citizen would not be exposed to. You exposed to different culture. You have been taught some strategy. You understand what combat is. Therefore, you can bring some strategy to help them to evolve with the culture and the mindset. So you can able to shape a future generation that will able to evolve. We are cognizant of the fact, Jaden, we cannot change the world, the entire world. But what we can change is one soul. What we can change is two souls. And there starts the journey of replication. Because you just need one tree because you cannot have the entire forest. But when you catch yourself, that one tree actually builds the forest. So once again, that one mentee that you have, I want to thank you for your leadership and your guidance to that one mentee. Our third question tonight, Jaden. Can you highlight a specific achievement or project that you're particularly proud of in your career or personal life?
Yes, I actually have uh, the biggest achievement I would say for me throughout my personal life was I became an artillery section chief in the Marine Corps, where I had 10 Marines under my charge, and we deployed overseas, and every single one of those Marines made it back home to their families because of how well we trained them and how well we worked together and how well we took care of each other, looked out for each other's welfare. So I would say that's probably one of the biggest accomplishments I've ever had because I've seen the other side of that where people have not made it home to their families. So I would say that's one of the biggest achievements. I'm forever thankful in life that I was able to be there for them and able to have them with me as well.
That's awesome. And that show is stellar leadership. That show is stellar leadership. Because leading at least, they said 10 persons, right? 10 bodies, even in combat, where you're dealing with fear, you're dealing with butterflies, you're dealing with adrenaline, you're dealing with so much while you are on deployment. They can actually occur PTSD. They can actually have epiphany and adrenaline clashing together. There's so much you have to deal with different personality. And for you to lead them and bring them back all home safe to their family, one, to help them to re-enter into society functionally, I want to tell you thank you for your stellar leadership. Our fourth question, Jaden. How do you stay informed and continually educate yourself in your field or a current trends?
So this, for me, I say, how do I inform myself? I read a lot of books, but lately I've been listening to a lot of male public figures back in the day because the men of my generation aren't the leaders of how Martin Luther King was. So I listened to a lot of Martin Luther King speeches, how he carried himself, how he brought men together. Because I feel like the sun that shined a million years ago is the same sun that's going to shine tomorrow. So it's not many people my age that's doing what I'm doing because how the world has changed throughout the past generations. But Martin Luther King, the civil rights leader, they were fighting for something, standing for something. So they had to move different in public, talk different, get people together. So I studied them more because they made it work at one of the toughest times in this world when it wasn't as equal playing ground as there is now. So that's how I stay informed. I just try to incorporate all the old tools
And
with.
I love that. I love that, Jaden, because as mentor as you are, with your military experience and now integrate into society, into your community, your village, and your tribe, we need to understand the power of singleness. The power of singleness. Today, that was actually the entire day that was running through my lexicon the entire day. The power of singleness, and how can you embody singleness when you become a leader or you want to evolve into something that is trending to become great. Martin Luther King, which you allude to, they had the power of singleness while they were evolving into something that is great, what I've not yet seen, but they know it will come to fruition. They may not be in while they're alive, but they know it will come to fruition. So today, all through the day, the power of singleness was running through my lexicon, running through my mind. And I want to encourage you also, because Martin Luther King had a power of singleness leading the civil rights movement. He had to stood alone. He had to stood understanding as an individual. I have to do what I think have to be done as a single individual. Because as a leader, you cannot have that corporate mindset while you're missing the vision as an individual. It's okay with the collective because the collectives matter. But in the collective, what happened to you as an individual without that single mindset? For example, Rosa Parks sitting in the bus. There's the collective in the bus. But she had to make a single decision with a single mind. And here is where your leadership will be tested. At times where you have to have that single mindset, have that single demeanor to where you want to go in the collective, meaning the marketplace. And I'm glad that you are up for the taking Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, Rosa Parks, Biggie Small, Tupac Shakur. These are people of the single mindset. And when you're single mindset, you have to be prepared to be in uncharted places where your leadership will be tested. Because when you have the single mindset, your mind is set to a predetermined place, which will be challenged. Because you are unique when you are single mindset. So I'm glad that you have Mentor in the Shadow by Martin Luther King. Here goes our fifth question, Jaden. What challenges have you faced and how did you overcome them, reach your current position or level of expertise?
Challenges I face. The biggest challenge I faced would be realizing, like you said, singleness, that you don't have to do what everyone else is doing. Like, even though I'm 22 years old and what I choose, you have to live for you. Because there's people who consider what I do. I go to the gym on Friday nights. I read books. I don't club. I don't drink. To my generation, I'm considered lame or outcast. But to me, I'm happy of who I am. So that's one thing, because I always wanted to fit in. I'm a very nice person. I always wanted to be liked. Not necessarily a follower, but I wanted to be in a certain crowd of people, certain group of people. And then eventually I woke up from that and realized that I had to live for me because I wasn't being happy living for other people who only liked me because I was doing what benefited them and what didn't benefit me. So the biggest challenge I had to face was becoming my own person, standing on my own 2 feet, and learning how to say no. And that put me to where I am today, because now I say no and people have to respect it. And they will have to say my name right. And if you don't like me, that's okay. Because at the end of the day, some people are threatened because you can stand on your own face and you have your own mind.
I love that. And that come back to what we're talking about, this singleness. Like Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, Shakur, B.B. Small, Tupac. Those are my role, dog. If you want to go biblical, the prodigal son, you have to make the decision. Yo, dad, I want my stuff now. I'm going to go. And then you make the decision, I got to go back home. It's when you have that single mindset, where you know you have to make decision and stand by them as an individual, you will not be favored. Because the place you are coming from is your place of your own identity. You understand your purpose. You understand where you want to go. You have your own blueprint that you are working on. It may fit in the masses, but it's not for the taking by the masses. You see? Like Martin Luther King says, you all will not go there with me. You see? Everybody liked the dream speech. But I think the greatest speech of Martin Luther King talk about the promised land. because he's talking about his singleness. When you are crying for you. It's okay when you cry with others, but your single mindset will have you crying for you so you can affect the world that you are called as an individual for your sphere of influence. And I love that, Jaden. Bring us to our sixth question. Are there specific principles or values that guide your decision making and action in your professional or personal life?
Yes, there are certain principles and values, and I feel like this comes down as to when some people aren't happy in their life or they're not happy how their life is going. What I tell my mentees, if you're not happy where your life is today, just raise your standard. And that comes from, for me, I have to set the example because I feel like the best speech I can give is the life I live. So there's nothing a lie. You could come with me day by day. You will see I get up in the gym at 5 a.m. I make my bed. I do those certain things just because of the person I am. When I go to work, everyone in my office don't dress business casual, but I dress business casual because that's just how I carry myself. So I say the main values would be pride. That's the number one value. Pride. Have deep belief in yourself, and no one could take that away from you. Like, deep belief. I believe in myself before anyone else do. Or even if no one else do, I will stand on what I believe, whether that's right or wrong. It's my opinion, my belief. And the second value I would have would just be care for others, because there's a lot of people out here in the world who aren't as fortunate as us, that could be wealth, financially, emotionally, because I don't be bothered. I don't stress. I'm very well mannered, mature, and I can handle certain situations better than other people. So that's a gift for me, but not everyone have that gift. Some people can't even speak on live like this. So just pass it back, help other people out, because you never, and another thing, you never know who's looking up to you. That's one thing that changed my whole perspective. You never know who looks up to you. So carry yourself the way you want to carry yourself. And those are my values.
I love that. There's a book I read many years ago. I don't know one throw figure out there many years ago, but I was yet a teenager, I think. And he says, there's always someone following you, but where are you leading them?
That's
There's
good.
always someone following you in silence, also, Jaden. Right now on my feed and on your feed, so you just pick up a mentee. They're going to start following you, but where are you leading them? Someone in your neighborhood is following you, don't even know. Somebody at the gym is secretly following you, but it's where are you leading them? Someone in the office is following you because you bring a different aura. You bring a different way you carry yourself, your deportment. There's somebody's always following you, but where are you leading them? And I love that, for you to understand what comes with the responsibility of leadership, because you are not responsible to yourself. You're responsible to the silent persons that you are leading. You see, the onus is us sometimes when we think I am leading me. So I do in me regardless whoever. You see what I'm saying? And therefore, we have the wrong concept of our leadership. But we are leading people in silence. My final point before we go on to question number 7. There's a friend I have for many years. He said to me, he said, Seon, I didn't have a platform, didn't have the name, wasn't this popular, wasn't for the taking, wasn't for the booking. And he said, Seon, your name go places where you will never go. Your name will supersede you. What's your name you want to be known by before you get to those places, if you ever get to those places? And his name is Pastor Gavin Monroe. And I'm going to tell you one of my experience, Jaden. On my birthday, September 11th, that just got, I got a call from Brussels. I never went to Brussels. And the person called me and say, happy birthday. And I thank you for following you, for mentoring me. And I sound so confused that she called her daughter now. She said, Seon, this is my daughter who is a swimmer. And she wants her daughter to relate to me. I can't understand her accent that much, but to relate to me that she listens to my program. I never went to Brussels, my brother. So your mentorship and leadership go beyond where you will never go. What you want to be known by in spare of your influence where your physical presence will never be. My 7th question for you, Jada. Could you share an antidote or story that illustrate a key lesson or insight you have gained through your journey?
A key story. Let's see. I do have a story for you. So on my first deployment, when I went on deployment, this is when it all started for me. When I had a girlfriend, and while I was on deployment with my guys, with my friends, she ended up stepping out and sleeping with another man while I was on deployment. And that literally ripped me to pieces. I felt less of a man. I just felt horrible. Like I wasn't myself. And then from that day forward, I went on a down 3 months darkness, I can admit. And it's okay not to be okay sometimes. That's just life. We all have to go through those situations. And ever since me going through that transition phase, that's when I started building myself, realizing that like the only person in this world who should break you is you. There's gonna be loved ones, there's gonna be friends where it's gonna hurt, but you have to build yourself strong enough mentally. So I started doing everything I can, reading books, working out, just building myself. So no matter who crossed me, who betrayed me, who left me, I would never feel less of a man again because I know I was the best version of me. So I would say that's one of the key antidotes is personal development. You better yourself, nothing else. I'm not saying nothing else matters, but you won't be as upset because you know you played your part at the end of the day and it wasn't you.
I love that. I love that, Jaden. But your situation, my situation, and my story and your story have to be told. But your story, Jaden, is never for you. Somebody right now gets strength and courage who are walking in the same step tonight. We're going to even view this program after. Going to be strengthened by your story. I want to use an analogy for a story tonight and for you to understand how important your story is. We all buy Colgate, right? Whether it be Palmolive, it be Crest, it be charcoal, whatever Colgate you purchase at the store, right? That tube served no purpose until it being squeezed onto the toothbrush, right? So that someone can brush their teeth. Until something squeezes us in this life, you will never serve the purpose that you were meant to serve. Hadn't that happened to you, you would never be where you are today. Like you said, that J walk you into reading books. That J walk you to build more confidence. That J walk you to search your inner soul and to find your purpose and direction. Probably she was just a veil. The relationship probably was just a veil of hindering you from your purpose. Like the Colgate on the shelf, you just buy it and it's there. Until atmospheric pressure or the pressure of hands that squeeze that Colgate, then it solves its purpose. And that's what life is. So tonight, someone listen to us. Probably you've been lied upon. You've been cheated upon. You've been overwalked or overrun by situations and circumstances. You've been undervalued. You've been marginalized. Whatever in the facet of life you feel like you have no worth or no value. We want you to understand tonight that pressure have to be applied that you can come to your fullness and your potential, recognizing who you are, why you're here, and where you're going. Our 8th question tonight, Jaden. In your opinion, what are the most exciting developments or trend in relevant industry or field right now?
I would say the most exciting developments what I can see from my mentees is when, for me, is when I have my mentees and the point where I can see that they finally start believing in themselves is the best thing for me, because when they first start with me the first week, you could get the energy like they want to better themselves. Okay, they doing it. 3 days in, it might be hard. They're still doing it, and then by the second week, they're coming to me. Hey, I read this book. I saw this video, sending me content, me information. I'm like, man, it's felt me feel good. Like, okay, this guy actually believes in himself. Because if you could give, they say the only thing more powerful than fear is hope. Simple. So if once I can see other people actually start believing in themselves and having hope, that's one of the most like things I could say.
Awesome. I love that because I call it having them moving from the zero to hero moment. The zero is the place where they never had worth, never feel valued, never feel that they can accomplish anything. They feel like an underachiever, never had goals in life, just live day to day, never had a passport, never had a bank account, never have dreams of traveling, never know what really, they haven't had knowledge from books what love is, never really felt a heart experience of love, always been tolerated, never know what celebration is. And I call all those things the zero moment, where people have them shock expectation and all those things and so on. They've been dropped, they've been broken. And I call it the zero moment in one's life. But when you as a mentor and you can see the incline in your mentee, where they start having their rhythm, they start finding their sweet spot, they start building momentum, they start feeling themselves, they start look, call you, I have a bank account now, I'm enlisting to go back to a community college, I am start thinking about I'm gonna travel, I'm start going to just change the way I would dress, I'm start doing some extra studies. That makes you and I as a mentor that we are making inroads with our mentee. And I love that because we're helping people to move from the zero to hero moment. I always says, when there is a problem, we must not be an addition to the problem, but we must be a solution. So where there's a problem that exists in the community, therefore someone should provide the solution, and that can be only find when you provide leadership and guidance. And again, we want to thank you at your age. Not too many person at your age right now is at the place where you are. When I was young, in my 13, 14, I was once a firm believer, Jaden, that experience come from age. So you get experience only from old folks. But where I'm at now, I have redirected and shift my focus that experience come from exposure. So where you at, you may be young, but your exposure brings more experience than those that are supersede you with a chronological number, which we call age. But your exposure with the places you have been, the encounters that you have, many may not have had that. And that's why your leadership and guidance is much necessary because you have the exposure. I'm coming to our ninth question. How do you balance your work or passion with other aspects of your life, such as family, health, and personal interests?
So that's a really good question. And for me, I wouldn't really say I have to balance, because in my profession, I am a fleet manager of a trucking company where I have 30 drivers up under my supervision, where those drivers are necessarily coming to me to fix their solutions, where every day a driver's in a bad mood, a driver's homesick, a driver's not feeling good, a driver's happy, they need someone to talk to. So for me, it's not really a balance, because I can be the same person I am outside of work, inside of work, because I'm dealing with people every day and different people emotions, where at the end of the day, when they call me, I am the life, give them life. I will never be upset. I will never be angry, no matter how bad they are, or even they feeling bad, they need someone to talk to. I'm always there, coaching, supervising. being a friend, a brother, a son to some of them, because a lot of the drivers are older. So for me, I really don't have to balance because I'm in the perfect profession for what I want to do. And trucking gives people second chances. That's why I love trucking. A lot of people leave prison, get their CDLs. A lot of people leave the military, get their CDLs. So now those are people who can feed their family. That's building confidence. And going through courses, going through CDL school, that gives you confidence that you achieve something. So every day I'm witnessing people take the next step in their life to for their family, sacrificing or bettering themselves. So I I don't have to balance it at all. It's just the everyday life for me.
And you find a passion in bringing something to someone's life. I love that because you cannot be effective where you doesn't have a passion for. What you have a passion for, what wakes you up with excitement for that day. Like for me, I don't call what everybody have sleep. I rest. But I really need to sleep. I tell you why. Because I have a passion for what I am doing as a motivational speaker. Managing my own platform with 5, 6 different facets. I always have to stay in the game. I always have to be dreaming. I always be thinking of something because I want to make sure I am relevant. I want to make sure my absolute truth meet my relevant truth. I always have to make sure I'm cognizant who am I talking to, where am I talking to, what liturgy I should use when, and so on. So I have a passion for it. Give it to somebody who doesn't have a passion. They think about it 1 hour a day, probably, or whenever the time does come. But a passion is what drives you and gives you an expectation. Come back to what we talk about, Jaden, the power of singleness. You have to enjoy your singleness, then you can emerge in anything else. And that can only come from you, right? Our final question for tonight, Jaden. What advice do you have for individual aspiring to succeed in your field or area of expertise?
See, I have advice for you from two spectrums. The first spectrum is the spectrum that I tend to use for myself, and this is what helps me. I'm a very realistic person. So there's no good news, there's no bad news, straight facts. That's how I look at it. So if you want to get to where I'm not, let's just say where I am, but where I am comfortably today mentally and everything I overcame, be real with yourself. Look yourself in the mirror and don't lie to yourself. Because the more you lie to yourself, that's every day you pushing yourself back from being a better version of you. And be real with the people around you. You know who are your friends. You know who are not your friends. You know who care about you. You know who don't care about you. And all the pain, the anger, the sadness, the depression, whatever you went through, I feel like those are the energy builders, that darkness to help you become the person you want to be. Because it takes pressure to make diamonds, but nothing in life will be easy. And the these things happen to great people. So if you feel like, why is this happening to me? Oh, how could this be me? Or this didn't happen to nobody else. Look at what you want in life. Look at who you want to become. It's not going to be easy. If you want to go buy a house for your family, it's going to take you a lot before you can lay down the first brick, you know? So that's what I'm, and the second spectrum would be generally just live in the moment. I'm focused on the future, but don't be so focused on the future where you can't enjoy where you're at. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the journey. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the journey. It's all about who the people around you, the company you keep. So, and don't beat yourself up. And I live off a 30-day rule. So if something happened to me day one, they joke about me, laugh about me. Are they gonna be laughing in 30 days? No, they not. So I'm not gonna care about it. Oh, I messed up this assignment. I turned in a late grade. Is it gonna matter in 30 days? Well, I think about it. No. I spent $100. No. So just live your life. Be you. Live for you. And support who supports you. That's the realest one, because what you doing content and people out here, not everyone's gonna show you love, and you might find more love from strangers than the people who are genuinely
Mm-hmm.
you around you every day. So show love to those people and support who supports you. And whatever you do, literally be the best at it. Don't do it. If you want to set up Christmas decorations, you better have the best house on the block. That's how I look at it. So those are two spectrums for me: darkness and live in the moment. Because we have one life, and it's a beautiful life. And you look back and laugh at it. And everything that happened, like you said, me getting cheated on, I could look back 2 years from now and like, that's why that happened. Like, that's why that happened. That's why my car wrecked. That's why my friends stopped talking to me, because it built me into the person I am today. The good people, the bad people, they all molded us to be who we are today. We just got to learn from and take away from that.
Yes, I love that. And I believe in setting goals, but setting realistical goals. Set realistical goals, and I believe in setting goals. And I believe in when you're making decision, people are going to talk about it today and they're going to forget about it tomorrow. Be your own individual. I love that one that you said, live in the moment. I live in the moment, and in the moment that I live in, I make sure I live in the moment of singleness. That helps me to sort and process as a single individual the decision that I have to make in terms of the realistical goals that I set. So someone wants to know who's aspiring in the field and the area that I am as a life coach, as a motivational speaker, as an entrepreneur, as a chaplain. I want to know, how do you do all what I'm doing, right? And I'm also a leader in our different organization, right? I'm the sergeant, just get elected yesterday, the sergeant at arms at Caribbean Association of Georgia. There is a runoff in the election for the presidency. I am a part of the runoff ballot. And the Guyana Association are part of the youth committee, right? I'm about another organization started, right? And all of this, you want to know how you're so busy, but how do you really get to do what you need to do? It's one, set realistical goals, have a momentum, find your sweet spot. Not everyone is going to love you. Not everyone is going to support you. Not everyone going to see value in you. Not everyone going to see the worth that you bring. So tonight we want you, wherever you are, to understand with what we take to get us where we are and to where we're going in giving guidance and leadership and mentorship to our community. It's for you to recognize that we care about you, we concern about you, and as you poise to become where we are, or even better and greater than us, it's for you to understand that set realistical goals. Set realistical goals. Goals that you know that are attainable. Have a vision board, and also have a board how the vision that you intend to accomplish. For example, you get a vision that you want to become whatever you want to become. How would you become that? You have to get into school. So how the other board now, that is your vision. You want to become a RN or a CEO, or you want to become a CDL driver, having a CDL license. How would you have that? On the board now is that you have to set realistical goals. I will have to have my CDL license, so I have to go to school. Which CDL school going to match my pocket? Which loan is relevant that I can be in that classroom for 6 weeks, not bringing a full income to my family? So that's how you're going to get your dream now to realize you want to go to become an RN. I have to go to make sure I have all that it takes, all the prerequisite. So I may have to be studying to have the prerequisite, then I can catch up to enlist now into the RN program. You wouldn't have a full salary. What will be compensating for the shortfall? So you have to set realistic goals, be realistic, be honest with yourself, have conversation with yourself, and work the workings as a singleness of an individual so that your dream can be attainable and that your dream can be accomplished. Once again, Jaden, is anything you want to say to the people tonight?
Yes, I actually, first, before I say last thing, I want to add to what you just said about the realistical goals. Something that I do that helped me. When you write down those goals, next to it, ask yourself why, and then write down why you want to achieve that. Because we're all human. Motivation is only temporary. There's gonna be days where you're not gonna want to go to the gym. There's gonna be times where you're at the CDL class and you don't want to show up. But if you write down why next to those goals, I feel like that why is important, because that's what's gonna make you get up when you don't want to get up or when you don't want to do it. So when you write down those realistic goals, put why you want to do it. You want to go to CDL school. You want to get your license. Why? I want to feed my family. I need to feed my family, not want, needs. Because there's a difference between
Wants and needs.
wants and needs. Is there between also if this works or I have to make this work. So just write that why, and once you write that why down, don't ever forget why you're doing something. You want to retire your family. You want to change the world. You want to help people. Those are reasons why you're gonna achieve those goals.
And with that in keeping, I love this. And then keeping because we were made to collect data. We are data collecting people because we built on ideas and concepts and stuff that flows around every day in either a song, in a poem, also probably in a preaching, in a narration, in a motivational, whatever aspect or content or form it being presented. But you have to know where you want to go. So while you're collecting data, you got to know which part of the data is relevant for you as an individual. Because you can be confused in collecting data that derail you from your purpose and from your vision and for what you want to keep as a person. For example, I want to go to get my CDL license. And somebody tell you CDL license is not relevant because we get a CDL license. Well, inflation is going up. You got to pay $10,000 to get your CDL license. And next thing you find, you fall prey to what someone probably may say to you with a self agenda because they want to derail you to feed them while you're derailing to feed you. Come back to what we're talking about, a singleness as an individual concept towards your future realistic goal. There's a thing we call, Jada, what is called the wig. The first time I grabbed that concept, it resonated with my spirit. What is called the worldwide individualistic goal, the worldwide individual goal. So you are in this world. As an individual, you need to have a goal. For example, you're a part of a company. The company gave you set goals, and they expect you to relate to them in meeting the goals or the deadline that they give to you. As an individual, we need also to have our own worldwide individuals goal. What is your goal that you see yourself that is accountable to yourself for? What do you as an individual really want to attain? Not nobody, but you. What your individual goal and the realistic time that you want to accomplish. That's somebody pushing you, somebody driving you, but you as an individual, we're speaking to people tonight. We are motivating, we're inspiring people. We're not talking down to anyone tonight. We're talking to the people. Someone right now is thinking, oh my, I never really see the need of me having an individual goal, a realistical one, and a time frame. We soon to hem up the month of December. We soon to hem up and button up 2023. 2024 is not too far. We will jaywalk into 2024. Start making goals realistic. I'll be talking to you tomorrow on my conversation with Mr. Sip and Chat, but start making realistic goals and how you will accomplish them because you're entering into January, right? So setting goals, realistic one, and hold yourself accountable. It's great to have an accountable partner, that you're an accountable body, but sometimes you have to be careful in who you're choosing to be your accountable partner. But having a accountable partner is very much important. You want to say anything about accountable partner, Jaden?
I would say that is very important because you want someone to confide to who will support you. As they say, no, there's no king without his queen in a way, you know? So I feel like even with relationships, I'm 22 years old, but I have a girlfriend and who I will marry one day, and I'm not focused on anyone else because I'm gonna build with her. I'm not worried about anything else because she supports me. And if I, God forbid, but if I was paralyzed tomorrow, I know she would still be here with me to help take care of me. And I feel like that's what you need because at the end of the day, when you come home to the house of a real evil world, everybody needs someone to make that world a little less easier and less lonely. So I feel like who your partner is a very important piece because they can either bring you down or they can uplift you. So
Certainly, certainly. I love that. I love that. Because you see, for you, for you to have that realistic goal and you have someone in your life. I have a mentor, and he said, he always say my girl, but it's his wife, right? He said, my girl deserve all that I have. And he says, why? And he make a comparison to him to many of the friends that he have. He said, many of my friends, close friends, their girl wait until they accomplish and then jump into the game. Watch they suffer and struggle to be where they at. But his girl struggled with him when he had nothing. Push him to when he even don't want to. His girl jump into the game, put the skin in the game, and now she really deserves everything that he has.
she's amazing. There's some real
She's
powerful.
amazing. Jaden, this guy has a ranch. His son just got married a few months ago. His entire family have portion on the ranch that he live. Every August, he take $10,000 from his organization to share out in the community. But he says when he had nothing, his girl jumping with him. And it's sometimes he just got to get an idea. She run and she develop it. And he said, my girl, but what he see other men went through, where the girl just waiting, sitting back, happy waiting for when they fully accomplish and then jump into the game. So your choice sometimes is very much important when you have someone in your life in terms of your realistic goal and the time that you can accomplish such is very much important. It's very much important. Back to where we start on, you see the synergy tonight. When you go alone, you go very fast. When you go with others, you go very far. And that comes to the person you have in your life will push you to the place of destiny, push you to the place of purpose. And therefore, you can realize your dream faster. And you have someone that you can share because we are relational, we were made for conversation, and we also made to be supportive and help it with who is in our personal space. So that's very, 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 very important. But Jaden, I want to thank you tonight for taking time off your busy schedule, as busy as you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to tell you, you're really ahead of your time, but you are 22 mature. Age does not bring maturity. We said earlier, age does not bring experience. Exposure brings experience. Age does not bring maturity. Also, exposure brings maturity. You see somebody at 60, 70, 80, 90, 50, 60 years still being childish because they're not fully mature. Because their mind never been in a mature place. Right? So we want to thank you tonight for your maturity. We want to thank you for what you're doing for your community. We want to thank you for the decision that you're making to evolve. And I love what you say, that life is worth to enjoy. And I'm glad that you make that choice, because nothing beats when you know your purpose and you're living a purpose driven life. The most miserable person on this earth, I'm talking as to me, an experience, past and present, and when you're not living your purpose. You are the most miserable person when you're not living your purpose. You're the most miserable person when you're not in your righted community, tribe, and village for you to catapult and for you to emerge. If you don't have the right manure, you don't have the right water, you don't have the right nutrients, the right vitamin, you're going to suffer from squashiaca, marasmus, all these kind of problems you will have. You'll be stunted growth and all of that. But I want to thank you tonight to see it fit to go back into the gutters, to go back into the drain, to go back into the less fortunate. Why you could have lived it up? Why you could have been rolling at 22 in a different sphere? I just want to tell you, on behalf of the Conversation Motivational Platform and all of the affiliate, we want to tell you we're going to stand by you in whatever support you need. We're going to be supporting you because I believe in community. One of our mantra here is value. We believe in the reciprocal nature of value, where we give value to the community and the community give value for us. One of my guidance is that nobody should have a meltdown under my watch. Nobody should go into depression under my watch. Nobody should go into suicide, marginalized, under value. This is a trusted platform where we keep people problem situation like a vault, where we value you despite of where you are. And I want to thank you because it comes from a community-minded setting. I want to thank you for your family. Thank you for where you're going. Thank you for all that you're doing. And I want to tell you, your best life is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. I will encourage you on this one note before we close. Quitters never win. Winners never quit.
That's deep.
Yeah, quitters never win. Winners never quit. So you will not be a quitter. You're already a winner because you will never quit. We want to thank you once again on behalf of the Conversation Motivational Platform. We want to thank you. We know that you will not be a stranger, but now consider yourself be a family. And when you have some time, you can come and we're going to chop it up here, man. We're going to have the raw talk. We're going to have the raw discussion. We're going to be talking. And I'm telling you, man, we're going to just impact the lost, impact some soul that is down. Someone in jail and prison can learn from us, make a wrong decision, make a wrong judgment, and now they're rolling in jail and prison, but they can still be uplifted. Someone right now, probably in a nursing home, have learned something from this discussion where they can have themselves strengthened and be fortified to face tomorrow with a different mindset. Probably someone in a long-term care facility asking, what am I doing here? But you're strengthening them, we've strengthened them and give them strength for tomorrow and a hope to face the many days ahead. And that's what my purpose is. My purpose is to make sure that one suffer under my watch. Once you come onto the Conversation Motivational Platform, you will leave strengthened. You will leave encouraged. And I thank for bringing such to the platform tonight. And as I said, when you have some time, let us know. You're going to come on and we're going to just chop it up and care with the ministry of care. With that being said, welcome to the Conversation Motivational Date Night, taking the blinders off. Thank you for rolling with us. Thank you for being our partner tonight, being our friend. Thank you for being our leader, our supporter. Thank you tonight. Have a great and productive week. Compete with no one else than competing with yourself to be the best you who God has called you to be, the best human being. God bless you.
Thank
And for 1 minute with me, Jaden, please.